CONCACAF Nations League action continues as Group D League B gets underway. Guyana squares off with Puerto Rico. And hello to all of you. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday afternoon. I'm David Gascon. Guyana and Puerto Rico going toe-to-toe for the second time in less than 4 days. And we'll check things out as far as the pitch conditions, the standings as well. But first off, the combatants coming out of the field. You see the temperature is just under 90 degrees. It's all in all, it's a perfect day for ball. And we mentioned it, Group D, League B, where we stand. Guyana, undefeated so far. They are a perfect 3-0. And the goal differential is something to rave about, too. +7 in that category. Puerto Rico, one behind them. They had the one defeat that was to Guyana. 3-1 was the final score in that contest, and everybody else is looking up, chasing. These two teams right now sitting 1-2. They've faced each other 3 other times outside of this weekend festivities, leading into a brand new week. Puerto Rico winning a couple of those and only losing one. So this is the first time that these clubs have gotten together since all the way back in 1993, and now all of a sudden they play twice in a 4-day span. The last time they played back in 1993 in the preliminaries, well, it was a little bit different because it was in the Shell Caribbean Cup and the 2-0 victory for Puerto Rico as they took care of advantages that were given their way. Danny Mueller and Brian Conlon scored goals in that contest, but it's been so far removed, it's hard to think about where these teams were and to where they're at here today. But all in all, it's an absolutely majestic scene. Glad he can be partaking in this contest, and it should be a fun one when we take a look at where Puerto Rico is, all-time CONCACAF Nations League action. This will be their 12th contest, and they have fared well. Biggest thing you look at, they've only had a couple losses, 3 in total now, but they're 8-3-0. Goal differential for them has been pretty darn good as well. They have 35 goals for and 15 against. Top scorers, Ricardo Rivera, Geraldo Diaz, and Joel Burgos, 9, 7, and 5 for them. And on the other side of things for Guyana, this will be their 16th appearance now in CONCACAF Nations League action. They have 9 victories, 4 losses, and a couple of draws. Omari Glasgow, who actually scored a couple days ago against this Puerto Rican team, leads the team all-time with 8 goals. Trayon Bobb, Emily Welshman, have 5 and 3 goals respectively. In fact, we go back to that contest a few days ago. Guyana won it over Puerto Rico. 3-1 was the final score. The lone marker in that contest, Leandro Ananetti, scored in the 11th minute. He got things rolling, but it was for Puerto Rico. And then all of a sudden, Guyana's offense woke up in the second half. Glasgow in the 60th, Kelsey Benjamin in the 63rd, and then Dion Moore, a little cherry on top, his insurance marker in the 86th minute. And that was the difference maker as Guyana beat Puerto Rico by a final score of 3-1. Both these teams now going to take the pitch along with the officials, so we're going to meet all together at midfield. And when we come back, we'll get you the starting 11 and the first touch. But we got national anthems in an introduction. It's Guyana and Puerto Rico coming up next.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the national anthem of Puerto Rico. Please rise for the national anthem of Guyana. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And here we are, live Concacaf Nations League action. Group D, League B is about to get underway with Puerto Rico and Guyana. Happy Tuesday afternoon to wherever you may be. I'm David Gascon, and thank you for joining us today as we get to hang out for a few hours to enjoy this festivity. Puerto Rico in the white uniforms today, Guyana in the yellow kits. So we'll take a look at the starters on both sides. First off, for Guyana. Guyana right now got the better of Puerto Rico a couple of days ago, winning 3-1. So far, so good. They're undefeated in Group D, League B. Quillen Roberts is in net. Grant, Jones, Duke McKenna, Glasgow, who scored in that 3-1 encounter. Benjamin, Gordon, Kelman, Greenidge, Wilson, the captain, and Elliott Bonds. Jamal Shabazz, the head coach of Guyana. They work with a 6-3-1 on the back. That's going to be probably look more like a 5-3-2. But they'll be moving some pieces about. One of them including is Omari Glasgow, who tends to play up to the captain's meeting at midfield. Daniel Wilson on one side, Nicholas Cardona on the other. Speaking of Cardona, let's take a peek now at Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, they have all of one loss so far. That was to the hands of Guyana. Serrano is in net. Cardona, the captain. Alfredo and Ricardo Rivera. Ekenging. Diaz, Vega, Silva. Yadrach, Paris, Rios. Charlie Trout, the head coach for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico and Guyana. Guyana in those yellow kits today, the yellow and green. And the light kits on the other side for Puerto Rico. Red, white, and blue. A picturesque scene there at St. Kitts and Nevis. We'll try to update you as the match goes along. Guyana +7 goal differential. Puerto Rico at +8. Antigua and Barbuda at -6 and Bahamas at -9. Those two teams have failed to do much of anything. Antigua and Barbuda with 1 win so far. This is officially underway. Puerto Rico will be moving from left to right on your screen, at least for the opening half, and Guyana will be going from right to left. Puerto Rico taking the early advantage in the 11th minute when these two teams got together 96 hours ago, and Guyana returning fire with 2 goals in the matter of 3 minutes, and then a difference maker of sorts in the 86th minute. So all in all, impressive for them not to only come back from 1-0 down, but to do so in the second half and really just turn it on. Pour in 3 goals to walk away from Puerto Rico and be triumphant 3-1 in that encounter. Roberts. It's a poor feed, and unnecessary was that attempt to get it over to Gordon. Silva. Back to the captain, Cardona. Don the captain's armband here today. Joel Serrano in net. Get to highlight a few of these players, which would be nice to see. Serrano coming into this affair. 3rd all-time in saves. Lefty Million, all-time top keeper. Angel Molinari in 2nd. But again, previous to this last weekend of activity here in 2023, Puerto Rico and Guyana have not met each other since 1993, so far removed between their first encounter and the first game back on officially March the 12th. They did get a chance to link up also in the 2017 Gold Cup. 2016 was the exact date on that. Guyana with a 1-0 victory in that affair. In the Concacaf qualifiers for FIFA World Cup 2 years ago, Puerto Rico beat Guyana 2-0. Ricardo Oliveira had a goal in the 12th minute. Isaac Agan-King also scored in the 25th. Those were the difference makers then. But of course, this is now. Gordon peels this one back. Greenidge. First time calling Jalen Jones on the day on that back line for Jamal Shabazz. Yes, the alignment and how they configured it with the formation, they listed as a 6-3-1. That's not going to be the case, though. Contact and a foul there. First one of the day. Daniel Wilson wearing the captain's badge today. But a bad man there. No chances just yet. We're here in the 4th minute. Oddly enough, during this past week of matches, we've seen a healthy amount of teams score early. I mean, in the first 4, 5, maybe even 6 minutes of competition. Now, a day game here means a little bit different when it comes to not only the temperature, the weather conditions are good, but it's the humidity that really rises up and knocks you out. Duke McKenna called for the foul there. Pretty decent amount of jostling between Sidney Paris and Duke McKenna. Cardona over to Diaz. Literally coming out of his net with Serrano. See if he's tested like he was back on Saturday. Teams have had an opportunity to feast on the bottom basement teams in the League B, Bahamas and Antigua and Barbuda. Giving chase, Cardona, he was wrestled out, pushed out of play. Benjamin with heavy pursuit there. That's a dangerous play just because you see the camera angle and that chain link fence also stems down a little bit lower. Leave a player in a vulnerable spot. Throw goes to no man's land. Just a friendly reminder, too, we'll have real-time standings, all those updates for you as the afternoon goes along. And then on top of that, if you can't watch a contest live, you can scale back onto Concacaf Nations League YouTube channel, which will have highlights from all the day that is, all the day that was. This one played through, inserted, but immediately taken out. Zakari Ziegler, our head official today. And again, an errant pass by Roberts. That's not twice he's done that early on, looking for Liam Gordon. Roberts not communicating with him at this junction, but nevertheless, Gordon did give him a heads up. Gordon, good elevation for it. Oddly enough, everything's been played in the middle of the park. And King had it for a moment. You can see Serrano kind of just directing things around. Move the ball a little bit, guys. 8th minute here, just no activity. Puerto Rico, Guyana. Little chess match developing here to open up this contest. Out wide. See if that one's played a little bit too long. That was the case as Rivera was giving chase, but just ran out of real estate. And result here will be a corner kick, though. First one for either side. It's a nice heads-up play by Rivera, but dangerous, too. You see him scoot. It's because the cleats were on the concrete like that. Can certainly have an injured player. Rivera and Diaz working short. There is Diaz. Not sure why he didn't give it back to Rivera, though, who was wide open. Ian Silva. So you got a trio of players there for Puerto Rico hanging out. Silva. Just bad passing. See, one of those things, they're just not on the same page yet. Silva nearly got taken out. And King throws this one all the way back to the keeper. And Serrano, again, just keeping things at a slow snail's pace. 10th minute here. Serrano just taking his time, working deliberately. We got a member for Puerto Rico down the pitch. Ooh, we have a number. It's Devin Vega who's down, but don't see how he made contact or who made contact with him. And King. Not sure that we've seen this kind of lack of development in quite a while. Diaz looking for a spark. Nicely taken away. Duke McKenna. The back and forth seesaw action that foul's going to go against Puerto Rico. See the expression on the face of Stephen Duke McKenna. 11th minute here. Right down the middle of the pitch. Rivera had some contact just outside the 18, but no whistle, no foul. Looked like Rivera had a crease. Not sure if he just misfired or lost his footing. A little too hot to handle here for Kelsey Benjamin. Benjamin did score a goal a couple days ago against Puerto Rico. Roberto Yadrach, Joel Serrano playing a little hot potato with each other. Roberts quickly had to elude one player for Puerto Rico, and he does. That would have been something. Match has had nothing but inactivity, and all of a sudden a turnover could have resulted in the first goal of this contest. At this point, we're just looking for a shot. Turnover here, though. Back on the approach, Gordon. Gordon going to allow this thing to roll out. Should have resulted in a corner kick, and Gordon thought so. Not the case, though. Looks like it went off of him, so back to Puerto Rico. And that's the one thing, at least, with Guyana, not putting too much pressure on the ball early, but they are occupying the middle of the park. Rivera here. Somehow that ball had eyes. Darren Rios. Quick restart taken away, though, by Puerto Rico. Here they come. No numbers, pretty good transition. That should result in a foul. Jalen Jones, the guilty party. I mean, he stuck his right foot out all the way, and Wilfredo Rivera, much obliged to just fall over it. Pretty obvious. Jones had a brief conversation with Zachary Ziegler, the head official, but proved to be frivolous. So now who's going to take this free kick? It's about 30 yards out, maybe a little bit less than that. By all indications, it will be Rivera. Nobody on either side for Puerto Rico. Rivera shoots into the wall. That's a good stop by Roberts. It looked like he might have gotten a piece of it. And now They show that it's going to be a goal kick. Looked like Roberts had a beat on it, maybe pulled back as our view is slightly obstructed, but getting a piece of it. Didn't want to do so because he read that angle well off the foot of Rivera. And King. It looked like simultaneous contact in that situation. You get two players that are selling it now, and a yellow card's going to come out immediately. Devin Vega down the deck. Daniel Wilson also there. See who this booking is on. And that wasn't a gruesome injury by any stretch of the imagination. Maybe ankle on ankle, but Wilson ran all over him. And Devin Vega, who's on the ground now, still not getting up. And now Vega back to his feet. So it's kind of fitting that we've had the one injury, or at least the one collision here between Vega and Wilson. This match already has no flow to it, and so this kind of just adds to more of the misery. Vega off the pitch. He'll return. He was jogging off. Zachary Ziegler talking to his fourth official, Reginald Gums. Surprising, though, there's just a lack of encouragement from the officials to get this thing moving. Yeah, the fans voicing the displeasure. They didn't think it went off of a member of Puerto Rico. Duke McKenna working quickly. Greenwich with the step. Too hard, though, on the push. Serrano again. Serrano's had a lot of touches in this first half, despite the fact he hasn't faced a shot yet. Diaz is in the middle of the field. Now he enters the 18. Had an open step on that run. He was cut off nicely. Jalen Jones was there. And King gave it up. Ford Paris. Paris, and it looks like Kelman nearly played that one out. Got a quick peek at Kelman. So the pressure's picked up, at least for both these teams, noticeably. Into the attacking third. Serrano comes out immediately. Heads up play for his keeper. Wilson. Over to Liam Gordon. Gordon had that one roll off of Silva. Gordon again, that thing was just shanked. Rivera springing loose. We got possible numbers here. Rivera's on the right-hand side. An open net, and that ball rolls just wide. Quality look by Darren Rios, who came charging down the left-hand side. As we look back at this again, he had a player draped all over him, Jonathan Grant. So a great chance for Rios. Second corner kick of this contest for Puerto Rico. Nothing yet for Guyana. 22nd minute, laid through. Roberts there to gobble it up. Serrano again working quickly off his line. An interesting match because neither team really kind of pushing forward. The energy at least seems like it's there. Duke McKenna lost it, gave it up. Vega can't get around a defender. Staying here. Elliot Bonds had it for a moment, gave it up. And now this ball is just being ping-ponged around. Diaz, middle of the field, Rivera. Wilfredo on a run, coming out. Roberts, or literally, that's a heads-up play by the keeper, reading the action. Much like Serrano does on the opposite side. Pretty good contact there. Rivera not happy with the shielding from Liam Gordon. Some slight frustration. Kelman. Up front, Benjamin. Benjamin can't get to it. So at least, if anything, in this situation for Guyana, finally a corner kick. They haven't done anything in the attacking third. And possession's been dominated by Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico has at least had an attempt on net. And Guyana, for the most part, they're still stuck in first gear. There's Duke McKenna. Duke McKenna working back post. That header with tons of velocity bouncing around. That strike just missed. Greenidge to Bonds, and Bonds just hooked it wide left. Well, the right guy to go to is Greenidge. See what he does. Doesn't need to really sky up for anything. And then Bonds there at the top of the 18. Serrano not happy with his lack of vision. But it stays out and away. 25th minute. Diaz couldn't keep it. Wilson. And now Guyana extending their pressure up front. It's the first time they've done this all afternoon. Pretty interesting as you have some contact there at midfield. Ricardo Rivera down. Ricardo and Wilfredo have had some good moments in this first half. Ricardo, yeah, the head contact. That'll call on the trainers immediately. See the spirit now increasing for both sides. A little bit chirping, Jalen Jones, who's disrupted a couple plays inside his 18. And now everybody looking on. Puerto Rico with possession, Silva. Back to the captain, Cardona. So when these teams played back on Saturday, it was a 3-1 outcome for Guyana over Puerto Rico. Cardona almost got beat there on the attempt from Glasgow. Omari, he did score for Guyana. Benjamin with the other one. Bonds out wide, way too hot to handle. Almost like these two teams either have run out of gas for playing a couple of matches less than a week apart, or the other portion is they're just slow playing this for the second half. And then all bets are off. Takeaway here. Could be trouble for Guyana. Silva can't do anything with it. Well, we can only hope the second half has noticeable changes. Rivera was in the box. That strike, Bonds had it go off his right foot right to the keeper, Roberts. Glasgow. Yeah, the give and go action not materializing there. Pretty good tackle, taken away. As soon as I say that, Benjamin with a hard foul. Out wide here is Wilfredo Rivera. Wilfredo looking for a cross. He does provide it. Some contact inside the 18, but that's going to result in a goal kick. Good effort from Diaz. Back to the work from Wilfredo. Diaz had a slight step. 31st minute here at St. Kitts and Nevis. At the break, we'll also take a peek at the on-town scoreboard and see what's going about. Wilfredo Rivera. Wilfredo Rivera almost had his jersey taken off. The undressing of sorts from Liam Gordon. See the possession there for Puerto Rico. It does feel like it's even sizable than that, 60% to 40. Guyana has not played well here today. In fact, they just don't look like they have the inspiration to provide any kind of real threat towards Puerto Rico. I say that, and we still got some time left here in this first half. Off the foot, watch out, this could be some trouble. Glasgow with some real estate. Omari looking for a lane, gave it up. That strike, easy stop by Serrano. Duke McKenna turned and fired, but really had no creativity to it. In fact, lost an edge as he went down. Giveaway, nice jumping up by Kelman, but Puerto Rico back on the intercept. They say this is offside. Rivera giving chase against Roberts. Robert comes out. Didn't look like it was offside. Glasgow again. Glasgow gives it up, feeds it to Gordon. Gordon looking for Glasgow again. That was well out in front of him. Gordon here. Glasgow has a step, tries to bend this one in, but that thing just sliced away at the front foot. The expression from Glasgow says it all as we review. Oddly enough, that had some interesting knuckle action to it. Knuckling because it had no twist, no bend. In fact, just went straight and sliced away at the last second. Glasgow, he's ramped up the touches here in the last 2-3 minutes maybe. That's going to be a foul. Obvious one for Duke McKenna. He's not happy with the call, but Steven, the guilty party, tries to plead his case. It won't matter. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to try to swim a player, but it's another to wrap down Sidney Paris and bring him down. Rivera. Nice job here for Puerto Rico. Slowly trying to matriculate their way down the field, and you can see the defenders all the way back for Guyana. Glasgow here. So it's certainly more of a concerted effort to play defense than to disrupt and to attack. Some physicality there. That's going to result in a foul. Duke McKenna not happy again, and the head official, Zachariah Ziegler, giving him the heads up. That's it. Enough physicality. Next one will result in a booking. Rivera, right-hand side. This will be offside. Diaz pulls the trigger, but Roberts makes the save anyway. One accounted, 37th minute. Feels like, at least with the positioning right now in Group D, League B, these teams being neck and neck, it makes sense when they try to work through a few things without being overly aggressive. You don't want to be the club giving up the first goal, especially because of positioning right now in said group. Guyana in first place, Puerto Rico in second. Paris had no help. Convoy did not come. Cardona steps up into the play. Gordon trying to get around the corner. He does. Gordon shoots. Good stop by Serrano. That skies up in the air over the crossbar and the net. It'll be a corner kick. So the best chance of this contest, and you see the wheels flash from Liam Gordon. Serrano with that left leg kicks it out. Duke McKenna here on service. Corner, looking for the back post again. Greenidge. He did not keep that in, even if he tried selling it. Guyana trying to win the second time in 4 contests between these two teams. Another foul this time against Kelman. That one was not as harmful as it looked. Vega down the ground right now, but this is some embellishment. Saw that look on his shoulder. It's the follow-through that did the damage. So now we have a pause in activity here in the 40th minute. When these two teams got together over the weekend, there was 23 shots combined between the two squads. Today, we're nowhere close to that. Just to give you a rough idea. Shots in this first half, 9 total. 5 for Guyana and 4 for Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico with a slight advantage in possession. Vega coming off the pitch. Vega going to try to get back on the pitch as quickly as possible. Stretch pass, watch out, got a partial break here. Off foot, Roberts gets beaten, they score! That's a jailbreak pass for Gerald Diaz, and Diaz beats Roberts in the entire defense of Guyana. Puerto Rico on the board here in the 42nd minute, 1-0. I mean, this was a harmless play, and then all of a sudden Diaz catching Roberts off guard. Roberts was almost like in that handcuffed moment where he was fending off the look of coming out and staying in at the same time. Diaz with the marker in the 42nd minute. This is all despite the fact that Vega had left the field. So nice job by Diaz.
Gerald Diaz in the 41st minute.
Kelsey Benjamin here. This has been an interesting first half because there's been no action. And then all of a sudden a stretch pass to Diaz, who beat the entire back line of Guyana after a quick restart. But again, you're talking about Diaz getting the ball that was from 50 yards out. It's like Guyana almost fell asleep at the wheel. There's Gordon. Glasgow looking for some retaliation here in an equalizer. Glasgow, and that pass was disrupted, looking for Wilson. This is not a half that you would talk about and brag about. I think both head coaches would admit not their finest of efforts. When it's all said and done, though, for Puerto Rico and Guyana, they don't care as long as their respective club gets more goals. And right now, Puerto Rico with that set advantage. So Diaz with the goal in the 42nd minute. We have seen at least more aggression from Puerto Rico than Guyana in the first half. There have been several occasions where a Puerto Rican player has been caught offside. And King. Silva. So Ian returns to the pitch after going down, nursing a shoulder injury. Wilfredo Rivera. Back to Cardona, the captain. And now with the way that this match has gone, at least in the first 45 minutes, once we conclude this, you got to figure Puerto Rico plays the second half. If the score stays as is, they play the second half exactly the same, which is just slow, methodical, and they're hoping for a break. Duke McKenna looked like he did make some head contact. Now that play is stopped because of an injury. Duke McKenna saying it's the shoulder, it's the shoulder.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fourth official on the sideline has indicated that there will be a minimum of 3 minutes.
That's Vega on the far side with the shoulder again. Daniel Wilson voicing a little bit of displeasure. Greenidge. Up front to Gordon, now Glasgow. Omari twirling about, but he's going to be double teamed, and he just plays this into a corner kick. 3 minutes of stoppage time given. Well struck out, but there's Serrano. Joel sniffing that thing out. Joel's been pretty clean in this first half. Could hear a million Greenidge there at the foul, bringing down Rivera. I don't think that it was not going to be called. Got a few hundred referees in the stands and also on the sidelines. It was blatant, of course, but nevertheless, the fans want to make sure of it. More physicality here at midfield. This should result in a booking. Duke McKenna is going to get a yellow card, and he gets stared down by Cardona, the captain. And he's been living dangerously all first half, and this is due. In fact, this feels overdue for Duke McKenna. So now he's on a yellow card. His action the first half has been pretty vile. And now he's upset, at least, that Sidney Paris is not there to receive his apologies. I mean, what do you think? Obviously, Stephen Duke McKenna not thinking, or he's completely oblivious to the fact of what he just did. Quickly on the restart, Wilfredo Rivera. Wilfredo at the left foot. Roberts comes out to save that before it crosses the goal line, would have resulted in a corner kick. And that'll do it for the first half. This first half was not as pretty as one can see, but nevertheless, Gerald Diaz with the only marker in this contest, and at the end of the first half, the goal by Diaz in the 42nd minute has held up. Puerto Rico 1-0 over Guyana. We'll be back. Second half is about to get underway. Puerto Rico with a 1-0 advantage over Guyana. We'll have one change at least out of the gate. Joel Burgos coming into the affair. Gerald Diaz with the only marker in the 42nd minute. And that is where these two teams reside. Guyana has not looked good. If you told us prior to this contest that Guyana has beaten Puerto Rico in recent days 3-1, and then you see that first half display, you might think we're crazy. Serrano. Back in transition. We'll see if any kind of change in format for the second half for Guyana changes the result of this affair. So they've just been trying desperately to get a good indication on what Guyana was searching and hoping, promising to do in this match. And you're going to give credit to Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, for all intents and purposes, they've controlled possession 60% to 40%, and they've really gotten underneath the skin of Guyana. If you think about it, 13 fouls in the first half. Got a chance here with some extra numbers. That shot on goal, not the best effort at all from Wilfredo Rivera. That was an unbelievable quality look, and Rivera did nothing with it. I mean, Rivera had that ball given to him on a silver platter. The effort was weak. And he had chances to either push that thing forward or dump it off to the left-hand side. Guyana, nice play though. Silva with a good wipeout. Kind of in the tail of this contest, right? You can't get a single read. Ooh, dangerous moment, a wide open net, and Guyana scores. Well, it was one giveaway on the opposite end for Guyana. Puerto Rico just turned things over. An empty net goal being scored there. Nathan Moriah Welsh, and it's 1-1. This is according to script. And what do I mean by that? This match has been that ugly, it's only fitting a mistake on the defensive side for Puerto Rico results in a goal for Guyana. Unbelievable. I mean, you talk about the beauty of this sport in this game. This has been anything but. Wide open net for Moriah Walsh.
Ladies and gentlemen, goal scored by Guyana
Crazy how this game has developed. Goal in the 48th minute,
in the 47th.
and we're level at 1-1. Shouldn't be a foul. Moriah Welsh, who's down now. Quite frankly, the lucky recipient of a bad break. '50th minute. So we didn't see any action for the first 41 minutes of this affair. And then in the 42nd minute, Diaz and Puerto Rico got on the board. And here to open up the second half, Moriah Welsh off the bench with an equalizer into a vacated net. And I think for the most part, while you can give some blame to Paris, who gave the ball away, Serrano was the one that fed him. And as a keeper, you got to know your surroundings, right? It's one thing to play the ball in the middle of the pitch. It's another to do it 5 feet in front of you. That's exactly what he did. So it's 1-1 in a brand new affair. Ooh, Mariah Welsh got the leg up too. Looked like he clipped Burgos. So for as ugly as this game has been played, at least we have a couple of goals to show for it. Now the question is, does this script flip? Do we go from a choppy, chaotic match to something that's pretty fluid and free-flowing, but providing no goals? Paris here. Sydney pushing things forward, trying to get into the attacking third is Puerto Rico. Almost losing his footing is Rivera. Maintains possession, good agility here. Wilfredo penetrating, that shot blocked by Roberts. He came out all the way against Paris. The rebound, Roberts with another great stop. Highway robbery there from Quillian Roberts. Leaping back, completely out of place. Rios appeared to be offside. The second attempt with that left foot, though, from Burgos. Flat out stymied by Roberts. Great stop of the keeper. This game is maddening, though. You try to predict something and no chance that that happens. Paris with the chip, nobody around. Three-on-two break here. Contact inside the 18. Officials say play on, guys. That was a slight embellish. Rivera falling flat on his face. Watch out here on the right-hand side. Benjamin trying to make a move, takes a shot. Didn't get a lot of steam on it. Serrano with the stop. If we can, we'll try to get back to the previous endeavor by Puerto Rico, but Serrano coming off his line, and a good job of at least closing on the angle for Benjamin. Well, we've played all of, what, 9 minutes? Here's the look for Rivera. No, Rivera's got to do better than that. I mean, Greenidge did get a piece of him with his left, but he barely tugged on him. And you're a grown man, you can't go down like that. I understand in the situation where he was in, Rivera's trying to draw a foul, but you can draw the foul and take a shot at the same time. But he did neither. And it was a disservice to his teammates because they had numbers. It was a 3-on-2. But you have a quality look from that close in proximity. You got to let it work. Just a little too far forward for Grant. Well, fans going to be enthusiastic about the second half. This is a lot more entertaining and a better pace than all of the first. Right, Welsh with the foul there. His goal in the 48th minute got things level for Guyana, 1-1. Joel Burgos, we just saw there, denied by Colin Roberts. Roberts was completely out of his net. Came back to rob Burgos. Speaking of robbing, Rivera here. Rivera has a lane, got taken down, this time on the backside by Greenidge. That was probably closer to a foul than the previous encounter between the two combatants. Paris almost left alone when Benjamin was there to try to pick his pocket. 57th minute. Antigua and Barbuda tie with Bahamas 2-2 in the 88th minute. Nice move by Jonathan Grant. Grant's got some real estate. Ooh, try to chip that one into the box. That was nullified at the last moment. But he had some space. Trying to manipulate that defense. And although we have a change for each side, we'll see if we get another one here in a moment. Got a few players that are warming up for Guyana. Spin, the turn by Benjamin, picked off. Intercepted nicely. And as soon as I said, almost given back by Kelman. Back on the approach is Gordon. Gordon trying to weave his way through. That shot misses. Duke McKenna's shot wouldn't have counted anyway. Gordon with the foul inside the box. Some chippiness here. We saw a lot more contact in the first half that were called for fouls, and actions continue here in the second half. Glasgow. You know, the intensity has certainly been ramped up in the second half. That was the one thing we probed about in the first, were these teams slow playing it just to get a good feel of how the other one would play. Well, the answer apparently now is certain that it's exactly the case. Both teams were feeling each other out in the first half, and now here in the second half, both clubs are going for it. Duke McKenna switches the pitch. Grant on edge. Grant losing some real estate here, waiting for some help. Kelman into the box. That shot never had a chance. Mosiah Welsh, who scored the lone marker for Guyana this second half, just off balance here. I mean, it's one thing to have positioning like this inside the 18, but it's another to have a clean look at frame. He didn't have that. See the shot differential on target between Puerto Rico and Guyana. Good run here in pursuit. Burgos just lost the handle on that ball. Rios. Guyana winning their previous encounter with Puerto Rico 3-1. They were down 1-0 in the 11th minute to Puerto Rico, then they scored 3 unanswered in the second half. Well, they trailed at the end of this first half 1-0. Tied it, and we'll see if they can come over the top.
Go.
63rd minute. Guyana not only getting an equalizer here in the second half, but they've also pretty much evened things out in the possession category. Possession, shots, chances. Grant. Nice push here. Good intercept. Sweet spin move by Bonds. Bonds looking to cap it off over on the right-hand side. Dipsy Doodle the move on the way. Benjamin's attempt off the mark. Well, that was all Bonds for a long portion. The spin, exquisite. And just laid it to rest for Benjamin. Benjamin tried to get around the corner, but towed that wide. Fans voicing their displeasure. Yes, Duke McKenna was in the middle of that one again, but fans hot and heavy right now. Giving chase out wide, punctured away at the last moment. Another quality look, though, at least from Mariah Welsh. 66th minute. Well, Bonds has looked good in this contest, although we haven't called his name a whole lot. He's had some special moments. One shot that just missed wide of the 18. How about this? Roberts leaves his net. A wide open lane. That shot sails wide by a good 15 feet. Ricardo Rivera off balance, just turned and pulled the trigger, but Roberts able to at least fight him off for the time being. I don't know what Roberts was thinking. I mean, your guess is as good as mine. Strange that Rivera just wouldn't plant. He had more time than he thought. Got a handful of substitutions for each side. Jaden Cervania coming in. Leonardo Antonetti also in. And departing for the day, Isaac King coming in, Juan O'Neill. So Charlie Trout getting some other guys involved. Let's see if that provides any kind of fruitful experience for the Puerto Ricans. Ian Silva, who got banged up in the first half. He looked like he was nursing a shoulder injury, has recovered. Pushing forward, and here we go on the counter. Antonetti out wide. Somehow holding his footing as Rivera, but can't maintain possession. Near giveaway. This should result in a corner kick, and it does. Fans here trying to give their nation a little bit of a burst, chanting Puerto Rico. Fake a pass, have a cross. Nothing came about. Ooh, this will be a foul, and it should be. Leo Lavelle with the nasty spill. And Sidney Paris coming off the turf. He's better now. Cervania gave it up. Antonetti. And he's working a little too long on that. Rivera's going to have to get on his horse. He can't get to it. 70th minute. As they're making some announcements on the substitutions. Through through nicely. Here's Paris. So Puerto Rico, despite the fact they've conceded a goal here in the second half, they've been on the attack. Antonetti, fresh set of legs, and it'll be a corner. Cross working that back post, headed away nicely by Greenidge. Top just outside. That bullet coming from well out by Cardona, the captain. Had that thing sailing well wide and over the net. Should be a rowdy conclusion of this match. Roberts, a high wire act a few moments ago. Got away with the one as he had his pocket picked by Ricardo Rivera. The foul there with that foul. Some will say that it's just good, hard fun, but Guyana has not looked good today when they've attacked and try to make plays on the ball. They've frankly have looked dirty on many of occasions. Some poor efforts when trying to make touches. And Puerto Rico's been on the receiving end of a lot of them. But as the saying goes, what goes around comes around. And now Guyana not too happy with that foul against Antonetti. Well, he was trying to play the ball first. Kelman got the elbow up and then shielded him off of it. Guyana trying to extend their pressure, and all the way back here to Serrano. Joel's been quiet here in the second half, although he was beat once by Mariah Welsh. And for the most part, Guyana didn't do anything offensively in the first half, so the one break against Puerto Rico got the better of them. And now we have a 1-1 draw for the time being, 75th minute. I think at this point in the contest, if you're Guyana, you're pleased to have this game be and stay level at 1-1. Will you overextend? Doubtful. Taken away though. Antonetti try to get around defender. Caught an elbow, it looked like up in the face. Paris. Antonetti, who was out of bounds, and Paris puts that thing into bounds. The separation isn't wide enough, frankly. Here's Roberts. Roberts has been tested. He's made a couple of marvelous saves in the second half to keep the margin at 1 until Guyana got the equalizer. Foul still one-sided in favor of Guyana. Duke McKenna. The cross, vacated net, they score. They haven't needed many opportunities in this contest. That was all set up because of Duke McKenna, and Dion Moore with the go-ahead goal in the 76th minute. It's 2-1 Guyana. Take a look at this. Duke McKenna, he twisted everybody for Puerto Rico inside and out, and Dion Moore was the lucky recipient. That thing was put on a tee for him. Moore doing a little chirping. Chatter, 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 he's saying to the bench of Puerto Rico. So Moore got the go-ahead goal, but you cannot mistake the fact that Stephen Duke McKenna was the one that made all of that happen. You could twist, you could turn, you could bend the defense at his will. It's exactly what he did, and the helper for Dion Moore. It's now 2-1 Guyana. Another late goal to make matters worse for Puerto Rico.
Millito, te mando un saludo. Mandale un saludo a Iker y a Boris.
So they've scored back-to-back goals here in the second half.
Goal scored by Guyana, number 9, Dion Moore, in the 77th minute.
See if this will result in a yellow card. Gordon down, slowly getting to his feet. And at this point, if you're Guyana, you're more than happy to take your time. And from the backside, as Gordon got eaten up by Wilfredo Rivera. Ruben Joseph going to come into this contest now. He replaces Rivera. So Joseph in, Rivera out, 16 for 7.
Substitution. Ladies and gentlemen, substitution for Puerto Rico. Out is number 7, Wilfredo Rivera. In is number 16, Ruben Joseph. Number 78.
They'll work quickly. Punch through, not settle down there, and there's Roberts to gobble it up. Well, they had the right idea. As soon as Ruben Joseph came onto the pitch, they were trying to spring him loose, but O'Neal fed him a little bit too far out. More contact here. Let's see if a yellow card comes out in this instance. It's exactly the case. Greenidge not going to say or do anything else, at least into the face of the official. Oh. I mean, he knew it, but you get the leg up that high, it's really waist high. I don't know what the intent was for it outside of creating some hard contact. It's deliberate. So this free kick coming well outside the 18. Puerto Rico looking for a late equalizer here in the 81st minute. get 6 over the left-hand side for Puerto Rico, but they continue to take their sweet time about this. Cervania. The cross well behind everybody for Puerto Rico. And they'll try to collect it. Not sure the attempt there from Paris. More contact there near the sideline. Antonetti. Just strange how that free kick took so long to develop, and then when it did finally happen, there was no kind of precision to it. Physicality here as Paris got taken out. Right in front of us, but nobody saw it. So we revert back to a little bit of the normalcy that we saw in the first half, and a yellow card being issued here. Wonder what this stemmed from. Diaz doing a little bit of chirping, but I don't know if it was bashing the official or not. Novell was wide open on the right-hand side. Duke McKenna juggling it. Novell, Duke McKenna. Set up the go-ahead goal for Moore. That bad pass is intercepted. Puerto Rico living dangerously right now, not only because of what they're doing in their own third of the field, but also because of the time situation. Lovell. Duke McKenna, and they will just saucer this thing back. Take their time with no ambition to push this thing forward. Kelman to Roberts. Roberts going to be one of the heroes of this match if they hold on for a 2-1 victory or any kind of W. Had some timely saves on the run here. Gordon. Gordon gets taken out. Depossessed from the ball. Speaking of depossessed, a turnover here, and it's 3-1 Guyana. That was ugly. And Omari Glasgow, who scored the other day, rings one up again here in Guyana. Duplicate of what they did in their 3-1 victory over the weekend. Back out in front, 3-1 here late in the second half. I don't know what in the world everyone from Puerto Rico is thinking, but Joel Serrano laid to rest there. He was all by his lonesome, hung out to dry, and Glasgow buried it. He knows how to celebrate. Serrano, you can see the expression on his face. What gives? For Omari Glasgow, it's now his 9th goal in Concacaf Nations League activity. And that pretty much sealed the deal. So Guyana, who played Puerto Rico a few days ago, found themselves down 1-0 in the 11th minute, then scored 3 and answered to win. Today, they trailed in the 42nd minute 1-0. And now here in half number 2, back-to-back-to-back goals. And this honestly has been some erratic and lazy play from the back line of Puerto Rico. Speaking of lazy play, this should be a booking. I mean, that could be red if you want to be serious about it, and that's exactly the case. That is exactly the case, and it should be. You're stopping a goal there, yes, but nevertheless, I just don't get it. Nicholas Cardona, the captain, drawing red, and his day is over with. Hey, just lazy ball. That is lazy, lazy football. And you're going to give a great deal of credit to Dion Moore, who scored the go-ahead goal in the second half, but he put the pressure on Cardona. Cardona heading to the locker room. He'll take a shower. But in the 87th minute, Guyana up a goal, now 2 goals, thanks to the heroics of not only Duke McKenna, but also Nathan Mariah Welsh and Dion Moore, and Amari Glasgow with the insurance marker. So up 2 now, and playing 11 on 10. See if Guyana puts a finishing touch on this contest. They played a physical brand of ball here tonight. They've been irritated. They have done some irritating, but they have pressed in the second half on the back line of Puerto Rico. And Puerto Rico made some brainless mistakes. Serrano had a beat on that shot. I'm impressed by the response from Guyana. Not only because of the way they did not play in the first half. It was a lackluster performance in the opening 45. But they found themselves down by a goal and murky things up. Roberts comes out, another big save. That's the 3rd time in this half Roberts has come out to challenge, and he has been tall to the task. Quillen Roberts certainly going to be a nomination for man of the match. Look at this break. As Ruben Joseph was going in, Roberts coming out. Lovell will just send it back, 90th minute. It's not a matter of how many saves you make, but it's a matter of when you make those said saves. And Roberts has made a few timely stops here tonight. All of them in the second half. Roberts alertly going to pick that thing up. We'll keep an eye on the 4th official for stoppage time.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 4th official on the sideline has indicated that there will be a minimum of 4 minutes of added time.
So 4 minutes of added time here to close out this contest. Guyana up a player, leading by 2 goals. Big performances from a few guys for Guyana. Colin Roberts in net, notable. Nathan Mariah Welsh with 1 goal. Dion Moore with what could be the game-winning goal, and then Omari Glasgow for good measure. See those clouds moving in the backdrop? Sun quickly setting here in St. Kitts and Nevis. Don't have a lot of lighting either. So Guyana going to continue their winning ways here in Group D, League B. They're going to move the record to 4-0. And for Puerto Rico, they're going to fall for the 2nd time in group play to the same team. And oddly enough, they'll be outscored in their 2-game set, 6-2. Antigua and Barbuda and the Bahamas playing earlier. Serrano coming out. Tough day at the office for Serrano. You got to feel bad for him. Joel didn't play bad in this contest, but your defense just hung you out to dry. And all 3 goals that got past him, he couldn't do anything about it. Just about the final 30 seconds, if you will. Throwing forward, and here's Serrano. So impressive. Fans not happy with that. But a healthy shove by Elliot Bonds. Quite the flop. It'll be the final look here for Puerto Rico. And this match is all over. This was about as physical and as choppy as a match as you'll ever see. And Guyana, with some emphatic ground and pound force, come from behind a win here today over Puerto Rico by a final score of 3-1. So they duplicate the performance from over the weekend. Diaz with a lone marker for Puerto Rico, and then 3 unanswered goals in the second half for Guyana, and they remain undefeated in Group D, League B, by a final score of 3-1. We'll be back. Put a bow on this thing. Concacaf Nations League today with Puerto Rico and Guyana. Group D, League B, a rematch of sorts between Puerto Rico and Guyana. Puerto Rico trying to get on the board early on. Wilfredo Rivera on that free kick just outside the 18. But that foul there was an indication of how busy the lead official and also the teams would be, pulling out yellow cards and fouls every which way. A partial breakaway led to a goal. Gerald Diaz in the 42nd minute broke a deadlock, making it 1-0 Puerto Rico. It was kind of a mistake-prone first half of ball, and then all of a sudden the physicality ramped up. Duke McKenna with that booking to close out the first half. But here in the second half, lazy play and an empty net goal tucked away by Nathan Moriah Welsh in the 48th minute, making it 1-1. So with the score 1-1, on the other side of things, Roberts in net, making a couple big stops. That one there against Joel Burgos. And on the other side of the ledger, Elliot Bonds trying to do his part. Screaming over on the right-hand side, it was Kelsey Benjamin. With the match still tied at 1-1. How about this for Stephen Duke McKenna? A busy day at the office. The cross, Dion Moore finishes it. The go-ahead goal. It was 2-1 Guyana. Silencing everybody here, and the physicality continued to ensue. Reese Greenidge with the yellow card. More mistakes. Amari Glasgow seals the deal. Joel Serrano left all alone by himself to defend. Couldn't do it. Glasgow caps this thing off. And Guyana now improving the record in League B, Group D, to a perfect 4-0 after that red card that was being thrown to captain Nicholas Cardona. But this thing was all she wrote. And Quillen Roberts did his part on the other side of things, keeping it at a 2-goal differential. Ball game, final, Guyana, Puerto Rico 1. Look at the final numbers in this contest for the victors and the losers. Guyana remains undefeated on the season at 4-0 in Nations League. Puerto Rico falls to 2-2. Yeah, the physicality was there. 3 yellow cards for Guyana. 26 fouls in the contest for them. 11 for Puerto Rico. And of course, Nicholas Cardona with the red card in the closing stages of this contest. But overall, Guyana really mucked this contest up, and they earned it. They battled with Puerto Rico, took them out of their game, and give them a great deal of credit. They were down 1-0 at the end of the first half, stormed back in the second. Dion Moore with the game-winning goal, followed by Amari Glasgow, and they win it by a score of 3-1. This is David Gascon saying so long from St. Kitts and Nevis. Hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you again tomorrow with more Concacaf Nation League action.